Hello folks, we're looking at some performance cars in this one, and we're looking at performance cars that have dropped a bit in price in recent times. And I think there are one or two bargains in here. Some of them are a little bit bonkers, some of them a little bit more attainable for the average Joe. But let's crack straight on right after you've given this one a thumbs up. The first one's a Hyundai i30N. This is the 2-litre GDI M Performance hatchback, 275 PS of power. 15,800 quid at the moment. These were significantly more just a few months ago. Insurance Group 28, 180 quid a year to tax and 34 mpg. And performance wise, 6.1 to 62, 271 brake horsepower. These cars really deliver the smiles. They're absolutely awesome things. Just complete hooligan of a car. I absolutely love them. Go and check one out. 15,795 quid, that one. That is a private seller, so you might well get that for around about the 15 mark if you play your cards right. 2019 Audi TT TFSI Sport, 195 brake horsepower with the virtual dash, heated seats. So it's well spec'd. 16,400 quid. A lot of people poo-poo the TT. They say, oh, it was a hairdresser's car, etc. They handle like an absolute dream. They're a brilliant laugh to drive. And it's also a great platform if you want to do any kind of modifications, which some of you watching this might. Full digital dash. This one's the automatic, the S-Tronic. Obviously, you'd need to do all your normal checks you would do with a car with a DSG transmission, because that's basically what it is. But with all these kind of cars that are sort of sportier or performance cars, if they haven't yet been modified, that's usually not a bad thing, and you want that proper service history. And if it's got receipts with it, even better still. Insurance Group 35, 180 quid a year tax, 41 mpg, and 0 to 62 of 6.6 seconds. Now we've got the BMW 4 Series. It's the 3-litre 440i M Sport Coupe. And these have come down a lot in recent times. Look at this one. It was listed in June, 26th of June. So they're not selling this one very quickly. 21.5 grand, and they've dropped it by 3.5 grand down to 17,999. 70,000 miles on it. 3-litre petrol coupe. Let's have a little look at it. Oh, it's a great looking car, the 4 Series. I think the back end especially. Whoa, look at that. Love it. BMW's Estoril Blue is a beauty. It's got Harman Kardon audio, Pro Nav, heated seats, front and rear parking sensors, cruise controls. It's got plenty of spec on it. Insurance Group 37, 180 quid a year tax, 41 mpg it averages out at. And the all-important performance, 0 to 62 in 5 seconds. Wow. Sticking with BMW, we've got the 1 Series. It's the M140i automatic, 3-litre. ULEZ free, low mileage, leather, full service history, 22,941 miles. You're going to be looking at Insurance Group 37, 180 quid a year tax, 39.8 mpg, and performance wise, 0 to 62 in 4.6 seconds. That's right, 4.6 seconds. 1 Series hasn't got the most amazing reputation for reliability, but I think you'll fare much better with this engine than you would with some of the smaller ones. Epic performance for that little car, bags of fun, 18 grand. It went on the market in the middle of June for 21.5. Again, they've knocked 3.5 grand off. And these cars that have been sitting around for 6 months, I would be making a proper offer on them. And if it's been sitting at a dealership for 6 months, there's a very good chance it hasn't been driven. So make sure everything's as it should be. You want a really good long test drive on it. As the car's been standing up, give the brakes a good test. Maybe ask them to change the fluids on the car if you do decide you're going to buy it. But yeah, 18 grand for that car is a hell of a lot of performance for that money. Audi A7 next. This is a 3-litre TFSI V6 55 Sportback petrol S-Tronic Quattro Euro 6. 26.5 grand, went up for sale in December at 27, they've knocked 500 quid off. 18 plate, 52,000 miles, epic looking car. Obviously just a brilliant Grand Tourer, really. You have got the newer interior on there, which looks the mustard on Audis. Personally, I think the build quality is perhaps a step down from where it used to be in Audi, but it certainly looks the mustard, doesn't it? Insurance Group 44, 180 quid a year tax, 31 mpg, And as for the performance, we're looking at 0 to 62 in 5.3 seconds, 3-litre V6. I love a V6, love a V6. S-Tronic Quattro, because it's got that Quattro system, you want to make sure the service history is absolutely bang on with that car. And you want to verify it and make sure it's kosher. As always, if you're looking at buying any used car, I recommend you go to VCheck for your car history check. There are lots of other more well-known checks available, especially on YouTube. Everyone seems to be promoting the same one. This one's a fraction of the price and does pretty much the same thing. It does all your normal checks. You've got your standard sort of HPI checks, but it then goes a step further. And the most important thing, I think, is that you can see if it's been an unrecorded write-off, you've got your salvage history and photos if available, all your MOT histories, all that kind of stuff. Cheapest one's about £3. The most expensive ones are tenner. Use my link in the video description and go and check out VCheck. Next, we've got the Porsche 718 Boxster 2-litre convertible petrol PDK automatic, 300 PS of power, 34 grand that was in October. They've knocked 5 grand off the price. It's currently 28,950. 2 owners on this one. It's insurance group 48, 180 quid a year tax, 41 mpg. And performance, we're looking at 0 to 62 in 4.9 seconds. Again, people call them a hairdresser's car, but the performance of the car, the handling of the car, the driving experience in the car is awesome. They are great, great things. Manual gearboxes in Porsches are lovely, like short throw manuals, but the PDK is also very good. They do have their problems though. Again, it's that DSG gearbox basically. So make sure that gets a thorough going over and make sure this car has been properly serviced. You want that done at either Porsche or at a decent Porsche specialist. Don't accept a service that's been done at Halfords on this. Lovely bit of kit that's done a lot of its depreciating already at 29 grand. A couple of Chelsea tractors coming up for you now. We've got BMW X5 2-litre 40E. This is the M Sport. This is a plug-in hybrid automatic X-Drive, so 4-wheel drive. The range on this, the battery only range, is 19 miles, which I sort of think, why bother? Because you've got to carry around the weight of the batteries. However, if you're just doing a short commute every day or you're just doing the school run in the car, you could do it on pure electric, and I guess why wouldn't you if you had the option? Insurance group 42, 170 quid a year tax. They've said 83 mpg, but it's a nonsense. All plug-in hybrids get these ridiculous mpg figures. It's utter nonsense. You'll probably get like 30 out of that. 0 to 62 in 6.8 seconds, 309 horsepower. We all know the X5, so I won't bleat on about it, but look at this. 1st of November, that went up for sale at 29 grand, currently 25.5. You might just be able to knock a little bit more off that. 2019 Range Rover, loads in the press at the moment because Range Rovers are getting stolen about every 12 seconds. They're also becoming more difficult to insure as a result of that. This is the P400e GPF Vogue SE. Petrol plug-in hybrid again on this one. The all-electric range is 31 miles. Again, if you're doing a local commute, school runs, shopping trips, that sort of stuff, that might just be enough, and it would be a damn sight cheaper than plugging this thing into a petrol pump. Insurance group 50, 170 quid a year road tax. And again, we've got a daft MPG figure. If we look at the performance, it's 6.4 seconds to 60, 398 horsepower. That's obviously with the petrol engine and the electric motor combined. You've got those sort of numbers. Same on the X5. But £38,000, that's come down massively. I think probably even 3 months ago, you'd have been 45 to 50 on one of those. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I think they're going to drop even further with all the negative press they're getting at the moment. How fair or unfair some of that is, I don't really know, but it's certainly not good. And here's another plug-in hybrid. It's a Porsche Panamera 2.9 V6 e-hybrid 4 PDK 4-wheel drive. Panamera is a brilliant car. This one went up for sale on the 7th of December for 49 grand. We're currently in the middle of Jan and it's dropped by 4 grand. Dropped 8% since the 7th of December. Only their asking price, I know, but still, wow. This is on an 18 plate. I would imagine this was a 6-figure price tag on this car when it was new. They're not cheap as standard, but once you start going into the options on Porsche, which everyone seems to, it goes bananas very, very quickly. So 45 grand for this one, 31 miles of all electric range. Insurance Group 50, 170 quid a year tax. Again, a daft MPG figure. 4.6 seconds to 62. Beautiful thing, bags of performance. And that thing will just eat up the Autobahn. We've got one without a plug here. Toyota Supra 3-litre turbo GR Euro 6 2022 model. Here is the Supra. In case you're unfamiliar with it, you might think, oh, that looks a bit like the inside of a BMW Z4. And that's because it kind of is. 4.3 seconds to 62. 180 quid a year tax. 32 MPG. £46,000, but here's the real story. This was listed in September for 52 grand. It's currently 46, and this is only a fair price. There will be others around in sort of the good price, lower price category. I just picked this one out because it was the first one I found, but I'm sure you could probably get one of these for about 44. And you only have to go back to September and they were well over 50. Obviously, it's still a reasonably new car, so depreciation's always worse earlier in the car's life. But if you're in the market for one of those, this one's got 782 miles on it. So it's essentially a brand new car and you can save yourself a lot of money over the new price. Maserati Levante 3-litre V6 Gran Lusso ZF 4-wheel drive Euro 6. So here it is. Quite a handsome looking thing for an SUV. I'm not usually a big SUV fan, but don't mind the look of that at all. Nice interior. ZF gearbox in that, really great automatic gearbox. You'll find it in a lot of the BMWs, and yeah, it appears to be quite a nice thing. And if you like a bit of bling, a Maserati badge never goes amiss, does it? About 100 grand for one of those new. In fact, they've changed their naming convention recently, but I think the equivalent of this one now is about £114,000. This one's a 2021. Bearing in mind we're only just into 2024, so let's say for the sake of argument this car's 2.5 years old. It's lost half its value. It went up for sale in October for 50. They've knocked 1,500 quid off since then. 29,000 miles on it. Insurance Group 50, 180 quid tax. Average MPG is 21, but I guess if you've got one of these you don't really care. 0 to 62 in 6 seconds, under 50 grand, and you've got yourself a nearly new Maserati. And then finally, because I always like to show a big land barge in these videos, we've got an Audi S8, not an A8, an S8 Quattro. These things are amazing. It's basically a rocket-fueled lounge. Insurance Group 50, 180 quid a year tax, 24 MPG, 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds. And the thing's the size of a postcode district. It's huge, super luxurious, amazing things to travel in. Obviously, it's the kind of car that you have to be driven in rather than to drive for most people. But what a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. Under 4 seconds to 60 in that thing. Again, if you're doing big, long European road trips, I can't think of anything much better to do them in. Lovely bit of kit. Thanks for watching, folks. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. If you want to go and check out 𝘎𝑃𝑔𝑐ℎ, the link's in the video description. I'll catch you on the next one.